ano sa screen. Ano ba? Remove from screen. Okay. Ay na ba? I guess no. Ready? Check mo nga. Hello world, good afternoon everyone. Good afternoon Hong Kong. Magandang hapon, mahayang Pilipinas. Sa lahat ng manggagawang Pilipino, sa aming sulok ng mundo, kamusta po kayo? I am your host for today, Christine. Welcome to another inspiring episode of Writers in Motion, brought to you by Migrant Writers of Hong Kong. But before we start, let me present to you our group, the Migrant Writers of Hong Kong, which was founded on March 30, 2021 by the three empowered women, Miss Maria Nemila Rocio, Miss Aileen Miramos, and Miss Lisel Marcos Fernandez. It is a social media platform that aims to connect migrant domestic workers, poets, artists, storytellers, and authors around the world. It allows members to share their poems, stories, arts, and photography. Our group featured different challenges and segments that motivates every member to write and share the stories, poems, and essays. Every Monday, we have Monday Prompt, wherein the members are given a theme about daily life to share their poems, stories, and is moderated by Ms. Lisel Marcos Fernandez. And we also have the On Mondays On Spotlight, featuring writers and poets in the community. Every Tuesday, we have the Creative Tuesday Challenge, in which we feature various artists sharing their artworks as an inspiration in writing. This challenge is being presented by Ms. Divina Orfilia Molina, one of the admins of the group. Every second and fourth Wednesday of the month, we have Connected, Different Voices, One Passion, in which we connect to multi-talented, diverse international poets, writers, and storytellers, delving into their works and achievements and learning from their experiences. Every Thursday, we have the Thursday Photo Challenge, featuring aspiring photographers and using their shots as a motivation in writing. We also have the monthly photo challenge, in which each member will be given a specific photo which they can use a basis in their writing in their piece within a theme that differs every month. Every Friday, we have the Friday challenge, wherein we represent different poetic devices and poetry forms as tools for the members to write their rhythmically pieces. This challenge is being presented by Maria Nemilo Rocio and Anne Marie Espiderion. And every first and third Sunday of the month, we have the Writers in Motion, featuring writers, poets, and authors in the community. The show was hosted by Miss Aileen Ramos and Miss Maria Nemilo Rocio for the past episodes, and will be hosted by yours truly, Christina Aurelio. If you want to know more updates about our group, please subscribe in our YouTube channel, follow us in our Instagram, and free to join our Facebook page, Migrant Writers of Hong Kong. And now, it's my honor to present to you our today's guest. She is a multi-talented and multi-awarded Miss Elizabeth Esguerra Castillo. She is a Shy Start Filipinas President, multi-awarded international author, and celebrated poet, visual artist with a purpose. A multi-awarded international author, poet, and visual artist from the Philippines. She is the author of two books, Seasons of Emotion, published by Destiny to Write publication in the UK last 2013. Inner Reflection of the Muse, published by Inner Child Press International in the US last 2014. A co-author to more than 100 international anthologies, Verses of Meraki, a poetry collaboration book she co-authored with Sir Shahid Abbas, the CIA SERT Pakistan President, to be published in the USA. Elizabeth is currently working on her third book, Verse the Ambido, another poetry collection. Her works were already translated into 18 different languages. She is involved in several international charitable anthologies, which includes those which benefited the American Cancer Society, Habitat for Humanity, Texas Children of the Sahel region in Africa, a global peace poet. She was appointed as peace ambassador and youth leader in several international youth and peace organizations. She believes that writing is a noble and secret mission, that a writer is a stalwart of an honorary diploma, Doctor Honoris Causa, from the International Academy of Literature and the Arts based in Ukraine, and another one from Extinction Cultural Colombia. She was also recently awarded a Literary Wings Award by the Comunidad de Barrio Pajaros del Alma in Colombia, and a School of Arts and Poetry Contemporary Arts awardee, Alexander Pushkin WPS International Literary Award given by Prisi Mondiale Lit Paz, among others. In 2013, she was also awarded as the overall winner of the WIS MIWA International Winners Award for positive influence of her community and across the globe through her literary contribution. CIESERT recognized her contribution toward literature and the creative arts and awarded her with several international certifications. Among them are the Matthew Pat Picho International Award, diploma for her participation in the Poems of Peru Tribute, and the Victor Hugo International Talent Award for her exemplary achievements in her literary and artistic career as an active CIASERT official. Elizabeth is also the cultural ambassador to the Philippines and a member of the board of directors of Inner Child Press International, USA. The Ambassador of Peace and Goodwill to the Philippines of Naciones Unidas de las Letras and Similas de Juventud Siglo, based in Argentina. Original Universal Honorary Member, co-founder in South Asia, and Deputy President, Philippine Subsidiary of Real Isar La Paz, LL, among other designations in international literary and peace organization. Elizabeth considered herself as a self-taught artist, with her works leaning toward abstract expressionism and surrealism. She believes that art heals psychologically, mentally, spiritually, and physically. She likes experimenting on her piece, which are also absolutely authentic, as she also finds herself as an intuitive artist. From her cascade of exquisite arts, one can immerse himself into a dreamy realm. Surreal paintings that can take you different worlds. She strongly believes that art shows us how to just perfection, but to discover imperfection and find the collateral beauty behind it. Elizabeth uses recycled materials to give texture to life her works. She also wants her art piece to be socially relevant, like her Earth theme and climate change series of works. Through her art, she wants to inspire others to protect the Earth and help reverse the effects of climate change. Her paintings were already featured in both local and international art exhibitions, such as Delphian Art Gallery in London, Luan Emotional Museum in Mexico City, Mexico, Luna Galleria Philippines, Transmission International Art Exhibition, Art Show Philippines, and Mujeres del Artes Cuatro All-Women Art Exhibition on display at Liblang Hotel and Resort in her city, Antipolo City, Philippines, organized by Antipolo Group. She was given a Rising Star Award for her painting Tres Mujeres in the Talentela Foundation India's online art exhibition in observance of the International Women's Month last March. She was participating artist for the Pakistan Contemporary Art Festival and exhibition held in Lahore, Pakistan. Her design, Son of the Orient, was featured in an open-air solar-inspired art exhibit festival, the Solstice Show organized by Sidara, Proyectos de Arte held in Lima, Peru, and was later on presented at the Conversatory Exposition at the University Nacional Mayor de San Marcos inside the Biblioteca de España de Arte in Lima, Peru. Her artwork was donated for a coloring book which will be published abroad. Elizabeth's other paintings were part of the international exhibits in Chile and Hungary. Let's all welcome my multi-talented guest for today, Ma'am Elizabeth.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Christine. Good afternoon to all. I'm glad to be here on your show.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
for gracing our invitation, Ma'am.
Yes, Christine.
I'm gonna, I will start with my first question. How did you get started as a poet?
I started composing poems when I was in grade school. Elementary days. I started to write poems about life, about love, and from that time, I already knew I wanted to become a writer, a poet. I My father used to compose poetry also, so I got it from him. He
Oh,
was a frustrated journalist, and I first published my poetry locally at the age of 19 in Blue Collar magazine. It's a local it circulates locally, and a supplementary study material of Don Bosco Technical School in Mandaluyong City in the Philippines. Um, my poetry, I wrote the first poems on notebooks, and then I just collected them and they were hidden somewhere until until the time that I got to publish them. So that's how I started. I started early.
wow. It's a very how your poems develop.
Okay, my poetry is they're usually subjects about. At first, they were just about love poetry when I was younger, and they evolved into deeper poems depicting about life, about different global issues and the like. Most of my poetry these days they're about they're like mystical poems with deeper thoughts, deeper meanings hidden inside the verses. So, but others tell me that they can relate to some of my poems as if the character is them. They 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 ask me if is this poem made for me, something like that.
Uh,
My poetry, they just develop. They start to form in my mind, in my imagination, because not all of them are about reality or something. But because of my maybe my creativity, I have a wide imagination. A wide imagination. Not really wild, but a wide imagination. And so when I write down some notes, they just form into a poem, the verses. They can be shorter ones, but usually I write longer poems with many lines. And I find it difficult sometimes to compose like four liners or something.
yeah.
But so it becomes a challenge for me to, to write with just like, for example, four lines, right? Like a haiku or something,
Uh,
cinquain.
Thank you, Mom. What to you are the most important elements of a good writing?
Okay. So for a good writing to be effective, your readers must be able to relate themselves in what you write. You just don't write because of yourself. You also think about your readers. It will be effective if after reading they get to think about your poem. It strikes them emotionally, psychologically, mentally. It kinds of changes their attitude towards something and they apply to their lives. You can, when you get feedbacks, positive and good feedbacks from your readers, like for example, a man from the USA, also a poet, told me, I cried because of your poetry because I can relate myself to the character that you wrote there. It was not my intention to make him cry, to make him cry. Uh, like the one of the poems that I will be reading later on. That was the poem. And
Oh, this
if
is the
the
second
reader
one?
suddenly realizes some things, yeah, the Phantom Shadow, that one
Yeah, yeah,
has a
yeah.
deeper meaning. Hello. Yeah, that one made him cry. And for your good right, you will have written a good piece once it um, goes down in history. The people who read your pieces will remember not just your writing but you
Yeah.
you have become a legacy or something, right? So it's not just using very deep vocabulary. We don't need how do you call that, a vocabulary that is really uncommon to be able to express ourselves, because
Yeah.
why will you use vocabulary that has deeper meaning or uncommon and then the readers cannot relate? So how can that be effective, right? It's how you
Yeah.
express yourself. Yes, because it's when we write, we we express our innermost feelings. Yeah. With vocabulary, you can alternate the vocabulary words. Don't use the same words again and again. It's going to be redundant, right? So use synonyms or something. And reading helps you a lot to become a good writer. A good
Yes.
writer doesn't mean that when one is famous, his writings are effective. That's what I believe in. It can just be like he's just popular because he's good looking or what, but is his writing effective? So for me, it's what he writes, not the person, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like
That's
when you're
right.
an actor or an actress, it's how you act sometimes. It's not just the pretty face or something. It's the whole package.
Yes.
So that's all.
Okay. At what point do you think someone should call themselves a writer?
Okay. So there had been debates regarding this one because in my experience, right, uh, I become a full-fledged writer from the year 2006. 2006. In 2011, someone, also a Filipino, accused me like, you're a self-proclaimed writer. You're just proclaiming that
Oh,
you're a writer even if you're not. But I'm already published. He doesn't know. But but I take that criticism as something that should push me to or drive me to write more. I don't have to prove to her, but then I believe that we can call ourselves a writer when we put down our writing, we get it published, and then it can have a deep impact to our readers. You can call
yes.
yourself a writer. Not just because oh, you're good in some vocabulary words, you're a writer already. No, it's not that. Okay. Because to be a writer, it's a sacred mission. We have a responsibility to the world. What we impart, it will go down in history. We will be remembered because of our words. Yeah.
Yeah. Like what you said, a person who rhymes words cannot be
Mm.
called as a poet. It
Mm.
conveys a lot of purity emotions, which is connect to the world and give impact, and it gives it find meaning. How life is colorful is that's what they said. It's not just because you know how to rhymes of words
Mm.
and you know how to compose a sentence with a deep meaning with a vocabulary like what you said. It's
Yes.
about the purity of emotions that connects the reader. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's read there some comments, Mom. Good afternoon to good Burgess lady from Dax, Illinois, Surrey. Truly a multi-talented and multi-awarded woman, a legend. Yes, she is.
Oh, thank
From
you.
Miss Nemi, a woman endowed with his much talented indeed. Ram Ravi, wow, when I was 19, I was just a hopeless romantic young lady collecting love stories and writing love letters in my diary, then tried to submit a story to Precious Hearts Romances, but was rejected and I got really discouraged. And
Yeah.
let's go to our next question. What do you see in poetry as form of expression over other creative format?
Well, being in the creative arts, because I'm also a visual artist, right? Um, I can see that I believe that poetry, it's uh, it's beyond nationality or races or cultures. Even children can write good poetry, right? They can express themselves well in poetry. I started my being creative with writing, with composing poetry in the written form. For me, it's simpler, much simpler at first, and then it becomes your higher calling. We can develop our writing, but I think there should also be innate talent in us. We should be born with that talent, and then we can enhance it. In an interview before in the USA, I was asked, "Do you think um, right to be a writer is born? A writer is born, or a writer is made?" And then I said both. I answered both. One can be born as a writer. He has talent, and then we can also make that talent develop further, right? We cannot force ourselves to engage in something we're not passionate about.
Yes.
So in poetry, we need to be passionate in composing verses, even simple verses like haiku, four liners about nature. The last line would be the aha moment. That's like a climax in a story. It it tells much about your subject. So it's the effectivity of your words and how you express it. It's different with visual arts because uh, we have to, how do you call that? Take into consideration a lot of things like the color, what's the subject. With poetry, only the subject at first, right? With visual arts, you have to blend colors or something. It takes time than poetry, the visual
Yeah.
arts. For example, here, this
Wow.
is this one I exhibited in Peru. This is for in tribute to the holiday of Peru. National
Oh,
holiday. There's a bird there. That's their national bird. So you have to
okay.
take into
Wow, it's nice.
consideration the culture, and something. It takes time for the visual arts to form. Poetry, it can sometimes it just takes a moment when you're really
Yeah.
inspired to write, or just a day or two. With painting, no, you cannot force yourself to draw or to paint, and then you tell the artist, you can you do this in one day? No, I cannot. Something like that. I have to consider a lot of things, right? But we also experience writer's block, right? In writing articles or poetry, we cannot force ourselves to write if we don't have the drive, because the result will not be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I believe in. Yes.
Yeah. What is important to you as a poet?
Right now, because I'm also a global peace poet. So,
Yeah.
like told earlier, what I told you earlier, it's not just about me. It's about my verses reaching to a lot of people. So, as a poet, we are stalwarts of change in the world. We are instruments, right? Through our words, there can be we can change the mindset of the readers to lead towards unity, peace, and love. So, what's important in being a poet is that you can be an instrument of change through your verses, through your writings. You just don't write about merely about yourself. It's not about us. It's about having this service to humanity. There.
Yeah. Like what they said, we write not to give information, but to give our insight and to
Yes.
give some changes for those read our poems. And now, as a multi-awarded and a very you have this bio, it's a very good background. It's 100% background to become a writer and a poet. But have you ever had a work rejected?
I have my share of rejections. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
But I just laugh at them.
You know.
I'll tell you a story. So
Yeah,
this one,
okay.
the second poetry I will be reading, that's rejected in London, in UK,
Oh,
in a magazine.
yeah.
That's one example of a rejection that became popular in the US, because it became part of an anthology from the US, and my other fellow poets there, my co-authors there were multi-awarded poets. I was just starting 2011.
Oh,
It's the one that I mentioned in my bio for the American Cancer Society.
yes.
So the Phantom Shadow is one of the featured poems. I'm the only Filipino poet there, and it's it possesses a world record, that book. So I told myself before, when okay, you rejected this, but I'll find a home for this poem. So there, I found it. I found the home in the US, not in UK. And then it became a favorite of some of my readers.
Wow.
So it's like a movie, the character there. So there.
Yeah.
We should not lose hope, because we can find the home for all our works, even the visual arts. When your painting is not yet being purchased, it will take time sometimes. But there will be one buyer out there. They will be buying your work, or you will be recognized for your work. You don't force it. You don't beg like, oh, you give me an award because I'm good. No, you don't do that, right? When you're rejected, it's not yet the end of the world. You just keep on pushing and continue writing. So that's what I did. You can get tired, you can feel tired, but don't quit, like what they say, right? So every writer, every artist has her own share of rejections. Even what's his name? What's her name? The author, J.K. Rowling. J.K. Rowling, she had a share of rejections before she published her masterpieces.
I have a quick question for you, mom, but I didn't write it here. Um,
Okay.
does a big ego helps or hurt a writer?
Well, it's having a big ego is a big no. It hurts a writer. It hurts a writer and then your potential readers, right? I think, yeah, most of the contemporary poets, not most, but some I met and I'm connected with, local and foreign, they have that. Well, sometimes we have ego.
Yeah.
We're not perfect, right? But I think it will hurt your career more when you have that ego because you have pride, like you have high pride and you cannot lower your standards or something, and then you think that you're more superior than others. It will not help you, right? It will drive people away. Right? And
Yeah.
the blessings will you will not attract further blessings from that because it's not a good attitude to have an ego. Even if you're famous, even if, let's say, you're already on top, and then you think of yourself as superior than the others, you look down on them. It's not good, right? In the eyes of God and of men, it's not good.
That's the worst. How long did it take you to write your first book, Seasons of Emotions?
Okay, so that's the first collection of poetry that were
Oh,
hidden in my
yeah.
notebooks from years
Oh,
ago. But um, I think I've already published some online, and I have copies of it. So it just took like less than a month for me to prepare them
wow.
because of my
It's
collection.
less than a month.
Yes, because of my collection. I already there the poems are ready already. All I did was to fix the manuscript, arrange the manuscript.
This is the hardest one. How did you come up with the title of your book?
What, the
For me,
first
it's the
book?
hardest. Yeah, the first
Seasons of
book.
Emotions. Seasons of Emotions. Okay. The cover artist of my first book, that friend of mine, uh, I have no idea of a title before, and then he 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 showed me that picture, the cover design. It's like a barren land with a tree with no leaves, right? It's
Yeah.
very dramatic when you get to look at it. The cover is black with red. Okay, so and then what if we collaborated also on the title? So what if we will include emotions in the title? And then I just added the seasons because seasons come and go. So like our emotions, we have different kinds of emotions. My book, Seasons of Emotions, they are into parts. I have their autumn, summer, yeah. All the seasons are there. I just arranged my poems um, according to what my muse uh, prompted me to write. So I arranged them. That's what I did. Seasons of Emotions. It's a very dramatic cover. That's my first
Who
book.
did the design, mom?
Hmm? A
Who did the
friend,
design?
a photographer friend from Australia.
Wow.
He's a cover artist. So he told me that's a good title. Let's push it. The title. My first book, it's free. I didn't pay any for publication also.
Oh,
It's a
it's
prize. It's a prize
it's such
for
a
me to
blessing.
Yeah, it's a prize from UK, free publication because I won a poetry contest. And it was a dream come true because I really wanted to become published. God gave me more than what I imagined.
Let's read for some comments here from Miss Nemi. Wow, very beautiful artwork. From Rubia, painting is very hard and writer's block. You just need to relax, sit back, and watch.
Yes.
From Miss Nemi, rejection makes up most of the journey of successful people.
Mhm.
From Ruby, try and try until you succeed. One of the oldest sayings we always hear and say, rejection are only the steps to get through the top.
True.
From Miss Nemi, it seems like an interesting book and the title is very catching, ambiguous.
Yes.
Oh, you have it, ma'am.
Yeah. Because I've been reading the poem already.
How did publishing your first book change your writing process?
It's practically the same. I just maybe it's just evolved through the years. And I became more patient. The kind of poetry became deeper. And one thing more is that when you write something, you write from the heart. That's what my mentor and editor told me because I was once a newspaper correspondent in Antipolo City. So he told me, because I resigned from my job, you write from the heart, you continue writing. Whatever happens, you continue writing. So up until now, the newspaper Antipolo Star is supporting my career. They're publishing my press releases.
Okay, and now, ma'am, let's want to hear one of your poems that you prepared for us. Yeah, this
Oh,
rain is yours.
I'm gonna read.
Yeah, your first poem.
My first poem is Courage to be True. Okay. Do you have to hide your true self? Make pretensions? Be under disguise? To be noticed by others, do you have to hide? Look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself why. Has the world made a slave out of you that once you feel unappreciated, you succumb to being blue? In reality, those who don a mask are the ones who don't know authentic happiness. For out of the mundane things, their joy dwells, living each day in their own make-believe world. Lost souls, restless hearts, crying for freedom, to break free from the chains that bind, and to have the courage to be true to mankind. Clowns are sent to entertain the crowd, but beneath the thick layers of use, can we say their smiles are true? The funny comedian in the movies that we see, in real life emerges a depressed soul once alone. For behind the laughter, behind the cheer, we can't see their real selves, can't see the hidden fear. True happy people don't have to mask their true selves, for they don't seek validation or appreciation from others. Simply by being their self, being honest to what they feel, open doors of love and acceptance for those who truly care.
Yes, we need courage. We need courage to be true.
Yes,
And yes, and it must, yeah, it will begin for being afraid for to be who you are.
that's right.
Yeah. To be yourself means act like with who you are and what you believe. Do not
what
take
you believe in.
action to, yes, and do not take action to pretend to be someone just to gain acceptance. And be who you are and be your genuine self. Yeah, I was relate on your poem.
You,
Like what I
be
told you,
you.
I love it.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, you can read some comments here. Ruby, I agree. Right from the heart, straight from the heart. It's like a song. Okay. When did you write this poem, ma'am?
2020, I think,
Oh, it's from
under the
one of your
pandemic.
books, right?
Not yet. It will be in my
Oh,
third book.
oh, from the third. Yeah, you were good. Was here. Let's. What inspired you to write your second book, The Inner Reflection of the Muse?
This one.
Who did the design, the cover? You?
Same cover artist. The
Oh.
same cover artist. I did the third one. I'm the artist of the third one.
The third one, yeah. Can you please tell
Okay.
us about your two books? Yeah, you did already the first book, the second book.
The second book.
What is all
Okay.
about?
So, Inner Reflections of the Muse was published in the USA last 2014 by Inner Child Press International. I'm also the cultural ambassador to the Philippines for Inner Child Press International. This is a collection of articles, poetry, quotes. I have my own quotes here. And the blog posts. I have a blog site, and then my blogs there and articles I compiled here. And guess what? This is also free. I got it free. The publication.
Why
It's
you're
another
so
blessing. It's another blessing
Oh, I wish to
because
have a free publication too.
they approached me. They approached me to publish my book, and I said, "Why not?" Because it was also my dream to publish my blog posts in my blog site. My quotes, I have quotes there, and um, the blog posts and articles there in the book, they're about life, love, relationships. And then I have poetry collaborations there also, and my own composed quotes that I uploaded first on Goodreads, and then it's on the internet now. The quotes, they grabbed it, the different sites. So there.
You are a co-author for more than 100 international anthologies and a poetry collaboration book and co-authored with Sir Shadid. I was curious with the title. It's the verses in Meraki. I think Meraki is a word from it's a Greek word, right?
It is
I
a
don't
Greek
know, but
word.
yeah, as like yeah,
It is.
it's like a word mirak, but mirak is a Turkish word, which just means curiosity.
Okay. But
What's the
Meraki here as a
significance?
okay. Meraki as a Greek word means to be passionate in what we're doing, to put
Oh,
our heart and soul in something that we do. So you can
so
have your own Meraki. Right? So
it's like a
he's
labor. It's a labor
yeah,
of passion,
mm,
just like that.
yeah, labor of love. When you're passionate about something, that's your Meraki. You do it with your heart
Oh,
and soul. So you call it Meraki. That's a state of mind there, a state of mind that Meraki. And we're still preparing for the manuscript of the book. We already finished 50 poems for the book. It will be published in the USA, Cyber Clerical Associates in the USA soon. I'm also the one compiling it and editing.
Wow.
Um, so I need to polish them first before we get to publish. Maybe next month or so. Yeah.
I
And
think
our,
you.
our our collection there, it's not just about love poetry, but different poems about life, about the universe, about current issues.
Your third book, it was the verse in Ambido. It was translated in 18 different languages. In which language it was translated, ma'am? Your third
The
book.
my book, it's not yet published. I'm just preparing my
Yeah.
third book, Verse D Ambedo. That means verses of Ambedo is also another word. I
Latin?
forgot. Is it
A Latin word?
Latin or Polish word, which means to be in that moment. You immerse
Oh.
yourself in that moment. That's Ambedo. Okay. I like using words that are out of this world, so it can have a lasting impact. They will be curious. What does that mean, Ambedo? What does she mean? Okay. And
Yeah.
the translations, the 18 translations of my works, they're of various poetry. Um, what's that? Urdu, Arabic, Polish, Romanian, Turkish. What else? I forgot the others. So I just asked my fellow foreign writers to translate some poems, and then we publish in some sites.
Oh,
And
okay.
yes,
It's not risky. It's not risky to you to translate your poem
it's
in
not,
the
but it's not because it's their native language. You don't
oh,
use Google when you translate something. That would be risky when you use Google because the translation is literal. You should find someone with the native language, also a poet, so she or he understands, and then he or she will make some adjustments if there's no other words, something. Then you will be able to communicate with them directly, right? I'm also planning to have another book of translated works soon.
what's your advice for upcoming authors?
Okay. Like in an interview I had with the magazine The USA, I told them that um, John Green, the author, said that we should not write because of accolades, rewards, awards. We should write because it's a higher calling. You don't think about money first or being famous or having an award, right? You think first, how would you impact the world? How would your words leave a legacy? How would it change someone's life? Don't think about yourself, but think about the impact of your words. Words, they can transform, they can break or mend someone, right? So don't think about being famous, he said. Don't think about being famous. Don't think about being a bestseller. You can be a bestseller because you let your readers to download for free. It's not authentic. Uh, it's not being an authentic author. When you say best-selling, that means readers. You don't force the readers to buy. They buy because they love your work, right? So for upcoming authors there, for young and aspiring writers there, we just continue practicing writing every day, each day. A journal, writing in a journal is very important. It helps you with developing your skills, and then reading plays an important role. Important role. I'm buckling. Important role in becoming an effective writer. There. You don't push yourself to be, I want to become a published author soon, something like that. It takes time sometimes, right? We all have our own time, designated time.
Yeah.
Um, if God wills, right?
Yeah. Thank you, Mom. And now we want to hear your second poem.
Here's the poem that made someone cry. Okay. The Phantom Shadow. Through the dark night, on a starless and pale moonlight, he lurks from behind, nowhere to go to, just wandering the streets, hiding from the crowd, his sullen face masked. But beyond that scarred countenance is a dark past that continues to hunt him down. He may be aloof, be misunderstood by silly, shallow people. Deep down he has a gentle heart, yet hardened by great blows he has yet to forget. In each one of us is the phantom's shadow, longing for more than just empathy. We struggle so much to find our niche in this judgmental world, to be embraced despite our frailties, shortcomings, and flaws. Why can't the world just leave him alone and erase the stigma of him being different from the rest, an outcast? Give him space to breathe, to live peacefully, have his share and prove his worth. Through the dark alleys, there is where he hides, hoping his day would finally come and can break free from the chains. Like any one of us, all he wishes for is to find true happiness, and all he's asking from strangers is a little kindness. Every one of us long to be accepted for who we are, to fit in the crowd and not be left out. How do we bring forth peace in this world when all we do is throw stones at each other instead of living harmoniously? I composed this last 2010. 12 years already.
After I read your poem, my imagination goes to it's like in a biblical event in the yeah when there is a lady surrounded by the crowd and then they're throwing stones on her
Yes.
because of the adulterous move. I think it's like an escape scene. I always see it in the it's before in like a biblical books.
Yes.
That's what I
It's a
imagine.
story.
Yeah, it's a biblical event.
Yeah, when someone is different from the rest, a castaway, he feels that way. So people curse him or something. They throw stones at him because he's different.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Read some poems here from Mau Mau. Don't lose your own identity to be someone you are not. From Miss Nemi, always be real to everyone. Let people see who you truly are and let them appreciate the real you. From
Yes.
Miss Nemi, the story of Mary Magdalene. Your second poem? Yeah, I just said. It's a story of Mary Magdalene. She
It's not
imagined it
really,
was a
but
story.
anyone who feels different. And
Yeah, oh, okay. Then for my next question. What is the relation between an artist and a poet and the difference of a writer and an author?
okay, the first one first. What is
Yeah.
the relationship between an artist and a poet? Okay, both are creative minds, right? Both are creative minds. Um, they can create worlds, different worlds because of their imagination or creativity. A poet can be an artist also. An artist can also be a poet, but um, when they do their artwork and their poetry, it they have different processes, right? Like you have a muse for your poetry, and then for your artwork, I don't know what we call that. Okay, but both for both the artist and a poet, they enter into a trance. Sometimes you stare at a blank wall, right? Some would think we're crazy when you're talking alone.
Yeah.
Why are you staring at the space? Someone asked me that before, an office mate. I was writing an article. Are you okay? She asked me, are you okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I said, just don't mind me. I'm thinking about something. I thought you were angry with me. He said. So there. So both enter into a trance. That's a state of mind wherein they're creating. They're creating their works, their masterpieces. Okay, what's the difference between a writer and an author? Uh, a writer can just write something without becoming published, without becoming published in a book, right? So that's a writer. You can write. Anyone can write, but then not anyone can create that crystalline moment wherein you are your words. You are your words. Anyone can write, but not anyone can be effective in writing. Okay. A child can be a writer, right? When you're an author, there had been some debates also from uh, how can we call someone an author, a published author. Okay, you become a published author once uh, they say when you're part of a book. But what if you're published in a magazine? You're not yet published. You're a published writer. I think for an author, he authors some books. That's what I know. I don't know with the others because there are contradictions in the definition. And some state that no, you're not an author because you don't have a book yet. So what am I? A writer? They would ask something like that, right? So there's really a difference between a writer and an author. You just don't say I'm an author because I wrote poetry. I'm a poet. You say you're a poet. You write articles, you're a writer. You publish books, you're an author. You're a writer and author. Yeah.
Okay. I have a question. What if I am part of the anthologies? Do I call myself as an author?
Author, co-author,
Yeah.
because you're many
Oh.
co-author. You can call yourself a co-author. That's part of a book. You're a co-author.
Oh. Who are the biggest artistic influences? Who are your biggest artistic influences?
Okay. When it comes to poetry, Emily Dickinson, for the articles or some prose poetry, Paulo Coelho, and then for the arts, Frida Kahlo, for the painting, Frida Kahlo. But I have my own style.
Yeah. Describe the best piece of art you've created.
What would be the best piece of art that I've created?
Yeah.
Um, I think the best piece of art that I've created, because a lot of people are noticing it, it's in our living room. It's displayed in our living room. It's a depiction of an underwater scene. Underwater scene. I I put some pine tree. How do you call them? Pine tree twigs. The dried pine tree. We have a big pine tree outside there from our neighbor. Instead of throwing the pine trees, right? I put them on my painting because it's an underwater scene. And then they say some people they thought it was something else. because it's like an part abstract, part impressionistic painting. But it's really an underwater scene. And I wanted to impart to my followers that we should take care of our how do you call that? Our corals, our natural resources. That's my message. That's a series of underwater scene.
Your Cámara Internacional de Escritores and Artistas Filipinas President. What is the main objective of this organization, ma'am?
Okay. So CSART, we call it CSART, the Camera.
CSR.
Yeah, it's based in Spain, in Barcelona, Spain, and then they just expanded globally just a few months ago, and they appointed me as the president. Someone recommended me. Um, CSART Filipinas' aim is to promote global Filipino talents, especially the young and aspiring writers and artists. So I'm coming up with an international exhibition for kids, junior artists, to promote their works, to expose them globally. And then we have an anthology. I am inviting the migrant writers of Hong Kong members to be part of the anthology.
Oh, thank you, ma'am.
That one is what I mentioned you before. You or Dux, Ruby. I told her. I will include you in the anthology. One needs to be a member, but don't worry, I'll help you with it. Then you will be part of the anthology, Spanish Filipino anthology about Fernando Maria Guerrero, if you're familiar with him. He's a Spanish Filipino writer during the Spanish regime. Fernando Maria Guerrero. We will write about him, a tribute about him, and then the book will be translated into 40 languages. This is for free. Spain will be publishing it. So be part of it. So the Filipinos, you will be the voices of the Filipino writers. I'm looking for Filipino writers. So you as a group, how do you call yeah, the migrant writers for Hong Kong group, you can all submit to me, okay? We will talk
Yes,
about that later on.
thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
The submission will be September 1 to 15.
Okay, so next month.
Mhm.
Has writing and publishing your books, being an author, and ambassador of different charitable organizations change the way you see yourself?
I see myself in a bigger picture when I became ambassadors, when they appointed me as an ambassador in different organizations. But this is still me. I'm still the simple me. Often people will say, "Oh, you should change your clothes or something," or have makeup because I'm just simple when in person. I don't. I just made up myself because I'm I will be in front of the social media like that, right? Um, I discovered I have a higher calling when I became an author. I'm not an ordinary citizen anymore. I have this bigger responsibility to my readers. And I don't merely think about myself or to make money, to make lots of money. That's not my purpose, to be rich or something. I'll make the people rich with knowledge, right? With my words. And then I wanted to help young writers, aspiring published writer, those who are aspire to be published, I mean, those ones. I already started recommending an art fund grant to a young Filipina artist. She's becoming famous in social media, and another one with disability, but her artworks are great. She has 54,000 followers on social media, and then she's becoming famous internationally. That's my dream for to help young people, young Filipino talents and artists.
Yeah. Like when Ruby sent me your bio, I read it for how many times and asked Ruby, why she, why she? I can handle her because you have a higher caliber of bio. I can't. Say, no, she's a good person. She's very humble. And then when I send you a message, you reply me, oh yeah, Ruby is right.
Yes.
It's very
Uh,
we have a comment here from Miss Nani. Thank you for the invitation of our members po, and please feel free to post the invitation in our group.
yes, I will.
Yeah. What motivates you to work with different organizations, local and international?
Okay, what motivates me to work with different organizations? Because I have different advocacies. I advocate for women and children's rights, animals' rights, environmental awareness. So when I get to see them or interact with them on social media, especially on Facebook, I told them, I told myself that I need to be part of their organization to be able to reach out to many people, right? Because if you're already there in the organization, you can be their voices for your advocacies. It's for me to reach out to people and to connect them with authorities that can help them.
As an ambassador and youth leader in the several international organization, what is your leadership style?
I
Oh,
think my leadership style is being a diplomatic leader. Okay. Sometimes I can be strict, but it's for the good, for their own good. Right. I want to push people for them to discover their true potential. So we should lift people, not try to bring them down. Right.
okay. You have an online art exhibition, international online art exhibition in collaboration with Hungarian Art Gallery. You can promote
Yes.
it now, ma'am.
Okay.
Some updates. Yeah.
The everyday stories. It was posted today because they're in groups. Everyday stories. It's about different activities that you do. Okay, that's their team. The Hungarian curator is Ilona, and then she's also part. I recommended her to CSAR to become the president of CSAR. Soon she will be announcing. I still have a local exhibition, group exhibition this coming August 21 in LeBlanc Hotel and Resort in Antipolo City with Artipolo group of artists. Antipolo City artists and from nearby areas. And then other exhibitions are online. Another one would be in September in Blanco Art Gallery in Angono, Rizal. There. It's also a group exhibit. I'm planning to have my own exhibit maybe soon, if God wills.
Oh, congratulations in advance. To everyone, Ma'am Elizabeth Esguerra Castillo was nominated for the Premio Excelencia di Marti Cristal in Spain for the poetry category. And ceremonies will be in December. Please, uh, please visit the page of Camera International. Then you can hit the like button to count as to vote for her as the nominee.
Yeah.
And you have something to promote, ma'am?
Yeah, I will just maybe I'll just post the link on the group
Yeah,
of
okay.
Migrant
Okay.
for them to. uh, I'll call that for me to get their votes, to like
Yeah,
my photo.
yeah,
I'm the
you're
only
feel
Filipino
free.
there. I'm the only Filipino there, so it's for the Philippines, not just for me. Okay, for the poetry category.
Feel
I
free po.
also have I also I also have been featured in some magazine covers in Spain. That's Diplomacia Cultural. The center article will be about me and my mission for CSEC Filipinas. And there's another one from Silence of Style Fashion Magazine. Okay, in India. Today they will release that. And another one in Humanity Magazine to be released soon. I have an art page there. I'm an art editor. That's all. Thank you.
Okay. From Miss Nemi, congratulations po with all your future projects and advocacies. From Mau Mau, wow, congratulations Miss Elizabeth Esguerra Castillo. That's from Mau Mau. And from Miss Nemi again, good luck po with the nomination. Thank you very much, Mom, for this very inspiring day, for a very inspiring segment. Thank you for gracing an invitation. And it's not, my time is not enough for you to
Yeah.
ask. I want to talk to you more, but my time is wasn't enough. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you,
you
thank
for
you,
the
thank you,
invitation.
thank you.
Thank you, dear.
Thank you po. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you everyone for watching.